Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Pro Teachers Noob. Today with me, Jared.
How you doing?
And we got a Doomsday song here, a Doomsday two-parter as we're coming back. We just did Hunter Prey, and give people a quick summary about Hunter Prey.
It basically expands on Doomsday. It's okay. So Doomsday was first invented just because they needed some way to kill Superman. But what this did is it expanded and first off explained why Doomsday was so laser focused on murdering Superman, which again, all the retcons it makes in that book make 110% sense. I'm like, yes, thank you.
Yeah, because he was cloned and created on Krypton, tortured, forced evolution as a baby. Basically, he's still an infant.
Yeah.
He's still an infant. He's an adult. He might look like an adult form. He was genetically engineered, and this is his infant form.
It's just so cool because Doomsday is one of those characters. He's one of my favorite Superman villains because he's unstoppable. But it's the way that they handle him in like these early days that is like so good.
Yeah, and then Darkseid. The stuff was Darkseid was great. But you take down Darkseid, yeah, but it was Darkseid at his weakest. Let's be honest. It is still Darkseid because they basically were trying to keep all of these characters, from not being godlike.
You know what I realized would be kind of cool? I'm surprised Tom Taylor never used Doomsday in Deceased.
Good point. Good point.
Because that would be cool.
True, but we already know this is a different history. I mean, Supergirl didn't show up until the start of Deceased, the final series.
Yeah, but I know that. It's just I wish that he would have found some way to like go like this is how Doomsday first shows up. He shows up in the middle of the apocalypse.
Right, but how does things end for Doomsday?
He got they threw him to the end of time essentially.
Basically, it was destruction of everything. How else were you going to stop him?
Yeah, there's no way.
But the thing, though, what event happened between that mini and this one?
Is it a reboot event?
Quasi.
0 Hour Crisis in Time.
And what happened during that event? They restarted time. They had to restart history.
Yeah,
Which means Doomsday's death played out again. But we'll get to that. But yeah, this is also something that will be something very drastic for some other people close to Superman by this point. We open up first in the past, much like in the first mini where we dealt with Clark's fear. This one we're dealing with stuff about consequences. As it's Clark, Pete, and Lana. Remember, Lana knows Pete does not. But yeah, we're trying to go there and deal with they went out and Clark forgot to close in the herd. So the herd is still out there in the snow.
Wow.
He thought he could make it back, but he can't because of all this. Oh, geez, let's look at that.
That's a blizzard for you.
Yeah. Yep, against the worst, most godforsaken blizzard ever. Before I had my powers. So, Brainiac! Oh, this is something else. You remember how Brainiac post-crisis initially, this would be also a major, what I love about these minis are quintessential for Superman stuff. These aren't just, little fluff pieces. No, this one especially causes some of the most drastic changes. Because this is where we get killed off with the original version of Brainiac.
Yeah.
Post-crisis. Where he was this guy, originally this fake psychic. He was a fraud who got somehow connected. Now, of course, Jeff Johns would later reveal this was a Brainiac drone that infected him and went rogue. But forget about that. It's like never. Basically, this has always been a host for Brainiac. But then at one point, because they're fighting, it's like, I'm in your head, Superman. You experience what I want you to experience. The pain you're is more than you could stand. Oh, and given how you see his hair short to this post-marriage. Obviously.
Yeah.
But then, turns out, though, he tosses them into a car. But then, look, Brainiac and I spent an hour turning Metropolis into a concrete repairman's dream. But then, by then, most people knew enough to stay away. Maybe the kid doesn't have a radio in his car. Maybe he was promised a big tip. In any case, he doesn't make the turn in time. Brainiac plays the role of a living airbag. Look at this, just at random.
Wow.
But it makes sense.
Yeah.
And he tries to zap him out of there. Unfortunately, though, gas is leaking and whoosh!
Mm-hmm.
Brainiac is dead. Nothing could survive that except his drones find what's left of him. So he basically feels like, but the fact that the randomness of this, of a random pizza guy.
Yeah, I love that.
But I like that. Just something that they would never expect, but it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that husband of yours, Lois? Hey, the Clockmeister throws a party and doesn't show up. What's up with that? Had a story to wrap up, Jimmy. He'll be here soon. Super. Super. You might say that. Got room for one more? The Clark Man! About time you showed up, Clark. Oh, but the only one who didn't show up there was Kat. Why? Because this has been a year after her son was killed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, Kat is still there. Sorry. Everyone's having a fine time except for Kat. And it was 1 year today. This is the anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. So this is before she got the boob job.
Oh, I love that scene when Supergirl first meets her. It goes, for some reason, I'm picking up a lot of silicon in your...
But what did you think about her flirting with Clark? That I felt was not in character with Kat at all. Kat's like, he's married. She would never.
Yeah.
Why Jeff did that, I think my only guess is her time in LA changed her for the worst.
Yeah, probably.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they ask about them having kids, and again, it makes sense for her to ask, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Given everything she's been feeling and everything. Now, this is then we go back to the past, jumps around, but then turns out Lana and Pete have had a car accident. And we have not seen Pete and Lana in a long time by this point.
Mm-hmm.
So he flies over there and then zoop! Like, when did you blow into town? He just got in tonight, Pete. And he had the weekends planned for a couple of weeks now. Pete Ross, look, will someone please tell me what's going on? I'm at my wit's end, bud. Never felt so helpless at this. And meanwhile, oh no, something is attacking everything. But then we find out Lana was pregnant, 7 months along. And she had to deliver early. But I love this. Pregnant? I had no idea. Why didn't you tell me? You're our best friend, Clark. We wanted to tell you in person. And let's face it, you haven't been around much lately. You could have called or something. Lana was adamant. Wanted to tell you face to face. Said she knew how happy you'd be for us and wanted to see you smile. And that sounds like her. I love that.
He wouldn't be able to scan her with x-rays and see, oh, yeah.
She know. First of all, he doesn't do that just haphazardly.
Oh, that's true.
He'd have to have a good reason. Yeah, he'd have to have a good reason to do it. And then he'd be like, and I think, but again, I love that. That fits, that's a childhood friend right there. Talking.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, of course, she is just so upset. But yeah, will you leave Clark and me alone, Pete, please? We need to talk privately. Oh, but then the League show up, and this is the Morrison JLA.
That's the good JLA.
And then Morrison, and plus, because you have Orion, you have Green Lantern.
Yeah, because I remember, like, near the back third of the run, he added in a bunch of new gods.
Well, just that one, just Orion. But then
Florida.
You're back. Roar! Clark, basically, she's asking him to, as Superman, and she said even, I would never ask if it wasn't a desperate. Take my baby to someone who can help him. He was born because she was only 7 months. That's way premature. And basically, she says, like, Smallville doesn't have the facilities to help him and ensure his safety. This hospital was built in the 30s. They don't have the equipment. Like, from the day you shared your secret with me, I've kept it, even from my husband. And all this time, I never asked you. Never asked Superman for a blessed thing. So I'm asking you now. I'm begging you. Save my baby's life. Find the best damn premier care unit in the world and take him there, please. With the Justice League. Justice? Where's the justice in an innocent baby losing his life? They can take care of themselves. My son needs Superman. Clark, do you really want the death of an innocent child on your conscience? This is powerful, isn't it?
Yes.
And she's not being a bitch. It makes sense. She's desperate. And I love what she says. I have never asked you for a damn thing.
Yeah, that works. I like that.
And he's also already thinking about what happened with Adam. So it's already bad enough. He already has one death of a child on his conscience still.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
God.
Orion tries. Boom. And again, you're like, who could have done this? Gee, I wonder what's in the title.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, bad enough Superman doesn't respond when I call him, but John shouldn't have charged off alone. The League should function better than this. Must be because we're not used to being beaten so badly. Yeah, that was John. And oh, how's that for an intro?
That's such a good intro, because here's the thing. This is like the reborn Doomsday, so it makes sense that this Doomsday would be able to beat the crap out of the Morrison JLA.
Yep. But yeah, so he's going to go and deal with them, and he thinks the League will handle him.
Oh,
I know you nearly destroyed Superman and did the same to a weaker version of the JLA. Ha!
Ah, that's awesome.
But except for our brief tussle earlier, you and I haven't ever fought it out. And this is where... Roar! And look, he nearly kills Plastic Man!
Ouch!
Look at that! If he ripped him in half, he'd be dead!
Oh! That is brutal.
I think that would have killed him, don't you think?
Oh yeah, that would have killed him, because he's pulling his face apart too. It's not even like he's pulling him in half on like the torso. No, his face.
Now, who knows where his brains are?
Well, yeah, he can always move them, but still, it's like, ah.
But yeah, this is like, enough! During my time in this world, I must have grown soft from holding back my strength, lest I gravely injure someone. But a monster such as you deserves no quarter, no easy handling, and not 1 degree of sympathy. Drop, you foul creature of death! I say, drop! Nothing!
How's the cardboard?
But even she couldn't do anything. Now, to be fair, this is also around the same time we have Marvel DC, where Storm could beat Diana.
Yeah, that's why. That's the other thing. That's why I'm like, if this happened, like, I'd say if it happened now, the current league could probably take out Doomsday.
Perhaps, but there's something else about him. My own mental defenses barred your overconfident friend from the truth. To partially quote one of your own human authors, the reports of my stupidity were greatly exaggerated.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
It's not what you think!
Is he being mind controlled?
More like he's a host!
Ah, I figured.
But yeah, so they're trying to figure out what to do. So yeah, he's like, the baby will live no matter what. But how's that for the start?
The minute he's talked, you're like, wait, what?
But of course, you could think, did he evolve to gain intelligence?
That would be another way to take it. That'd be cool.
We'll get to that eventually. Not in this story, but when the other issues we're going to go over. And it won't be a good thing for Doomsday. You think it would, it wouldn't. But yeah, they're trying to make they're trying to find the kids, and as soon as they do, oh no!
Oh,
Mom, Pa, they never ever asked for much of me, but when they did, when all my father wanted was for me to get hay to his cattle, I blew it big time. All the cattle are dead, and they feel like. Yeah, they're broke. Every last one of them. They are devastated. But yeah, Lana is ready. Not Lana. Bruce. Superman is ready to fly the baby using a device that will keep him stabilized. Because he can't hold him.
Oh, yeah.
But Lana. I just came from NICU. Our baby, he's gone. I'm aware of that. Basically explains what's going on. And of course, like, don't you, my son's life. Don't you mean our son? I resent being cut out of the process. There wasn't time. Superman, well, he arrived seconds after Clark called and wanted to move immediately. Why can't you understand? You're my wife, but no matter how close we are, you and Kent seem closer. High school was years ago, Lana. You might have loved him, but he rejected you. We don't need his help to care for our side. Listen to yourself. How can you be upset about this? Clark's friendship with Superman is our baby's only chance for life. Superman, why? He needs my kid to catch a crook. I won't allow this, Lana. Where are they? by now somewhere over losing. Okay, I don't blame Pete.
Yeah.
Would you be pissed off too?
Yes, exactly.
As far as he's like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, like you didn't consult me when you're talking to who amounts to your ex-boyfriend about our kid.
Yeah, and then you have Superman show up, and again, you didn't tell me anything. And how am I to trust this? And then you say, your baby? You mean our kid?
Mm-hmm.
Which tells you, even when Rucker did it, there was always stuff between these two because he was the runner-up. Pete was always the runner-up. Always.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez, look at it.
This is so... Oh my gosh.
Doomsday. Oh, look at that. Flying a jet.
Doomsday flying a Tomcat is hilarious. Highway to the Doomsday Zone.
Doomsday Zone. But then, unfortunately, though, he has a run-in, and the oxygen. He can't go into space because there's not much oxygen for the baby.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, impossible. Doomsday, Kryptonian. A pleasure to see you again, old friend. Again, you think this is Doomsday with intelligence?
Yeah.
Although I should most certainly refrain from calling you Fred. You're back? You can talk? Understand that I have mastered a myriad number of skills I lacked in the past. As ever, your eloquence is remarkable.
Can I don't know how you guess on who's possessing him?
Who did we see earlier?
Cyborg Superman?
No. Who did we just see in the first chapter? In the first issue, who did we see get killed?
Who was that?
Brainiac!
Oh, that makes sense.
Brainiac! I said we just saw him earlier, dude.
Oh, okay.
You don't bring a character in there and kill him off and just end it there.
That's interesting.
But yeah, it's like, and then it turns out he's trying to make a new city.
Mm-hmm.
Marvelous infrastructure didn't reach, basically from the planet Kalu.
Yeah, there's your clue. There's your clue.
Kalu. You're a robot, a clone, bred for some kind of level of intelligence. Please, Kryptonian, do not insult me. Okay, I don't mind him having the eyes here to show his intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree?
Yeah, that's fine.
Is it better than that bit was Darkseid in the last one?
Yes.
But then we use a telepathic blast. And then he thinks back to what happens, and we found out 0 hour had occurred. And when that happened, time restarted. And when they restarted all, that it meant even the events of Doomsday's death happened. But this time, he had Brainiac had sent someone else to go pick up the body. Mm-hmm. An ally of his, Prin Vinok. And look, that's all that's left of Brainiac.
Wow.
So he utilizes that, and he puts it in. And now, of course, even by this point, the creature's still fighting for control.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is a temporary measure. Mm-hmm. He wants to be reborn in a new body.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, Superman just delivered him one.
This is not good.
The baby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just look at this. Basically, this is Doomsday with an actual fighting style.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, is that your best? I can still imagine Shao Kahn, one of the Shao Kahn actors, voicing Doomsday here.
Yes.
Is that your best? Oh, you even think your own progeny? Unlikely. Perhaps the child is of someone close to you, or even more likely, the child of a complete stranger. Oh, just look at this!
Oh boy. I love how massive Doomsday is compared to the baby.
And again, he's a premature baby.
Yeah.
So they put him in a device to try and get him up to a much more proper age.
Mm-hmm.
Oh!
Oh God. That ain't good.
Oh no, then a plane is going to crash because he was sent flying into it. He stops it, but then Pete was on board.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where's my son, Superman? Where's my boy? Pete, I don't know how to tell you this. It's Doomsday. You son of a... My son. You've lost my son. And then, of course, again, another point where Superman feels helpless was back then.
That is really cool. This is a really cool story.
Again, Jurgens is still, in my opinion, Jurgens will always be the best Superman writer, hands down.
I'll disagree with you on that one.
I love Jeff, but Jurgens has done so much more for Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you say was the best, not counting Jeff?
Not counting Jeff. That's a good question. From what
Jeff has done good, but I think Jurgens has been, because Jurgens has had a longer time writing Superman than Jeff ever has.
Well, my favorite Superman writers have been George Perez.
Correct. Okay.
And
New
then
52, in other words.
Well, yeah. Charles Sewell. So again, New 52. But I gotta add, I've enjoyed a lot the Greg Rucka stories we've been.
That I showed you. Yeah.
But those are great.
But this is just gut punching.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but yeah, they're ready to sell off the farm. Now, of course, we know they don't, so we know there's going to be something that's going to change it. But I love this moment where he feels like Saturday 1 p.m., all property and equipment will be sold.
Mm-hmm.
Because what are they going to do? Well, my son's dead, and it's your fault, Superman. Your fault! Again, I don't blame Pete.
No.
He's a worried new father.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so he flies on out there and goes up there. Look, Aquaman.
There's Arthur. There's Momoa Arthur.
Yep. Ha ha. But the asshole Arthur too.
Again, the Momoa Arthur.
He wasn't that much. No, the Peter David Aquaman was the biggest asshole he's ever been.
Because they were trying to make Aquaman edgy and popular, but again, he couldn't.
And it worked. It did work. But no, it did work. Mm-hmm. It did work, actually. You know what ended up putting it back? And actually, it did fix a lot of damage until Entourage made him the joke again.
Oh. I mean, Entourage?
Yes, because they actually had a Aquaman movie that was made in universe, and they kept bringing him up as the joke again.
Oh, God. That's
what damaged him. And then they met halfway and gave us Brave and the Bold. Outrageous!
Mm.
But yeah, it was Entourage that did the damage.
Mm.
Oh, but just look at Doomsday, Brainiac and Doomsday, just like, Again, it's just so posing.
Yeah, he's doing the dark side pose.
Oh, I know, but I love it. Using genetics here from one of the JLA, Orion, perhaps? No. So using Orion would be a unique way of tweaking his overbearing father, Darkseid. I refer instead to this, and he's showing the baby, who again, he wants to engineer the body. Why? Because he's losing control.
Mm-hmm.
Doomsday's trying to cast him out. Oh, boy. Again, I love how this doesn't feel like, oh, this is bullshit. No, this makes sense.
Yeah, because Brainiac would be intelligent enough to detect, how do I take out the League?
And with the power of Doomsday.
Yeah, exactly.
But Flash is able to get out. And with some help from Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that, how Kyle's just taking a gamble.
Mm-hmm.
So they get out there, and then, of course, still, if your existence ensures the return of the Kryptonian, I'll let you live. For now. Oh, boy, poor Lana. And Pete's heading on out there. He's going to try and find, he's like, screw Superman. I'm going to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't blame him. Oh, boy, they call him a nutcase. He's not a nutcase, you jerk.
Yeah, he has a right to have an opinion here.
And to try and punch Superman.
Yeah.
Without context, I would think he was a nutcase too. I'll be honest. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. I would.
Yep, but then he's heading out there. Big fight. As they fight. And throughout all this, big attack. I'll say this. If it wasn't for the Lana stuff, I think he'd include the Lana stuff so we can actually have more than this. Because there's not much here with the Doomsday stuff, since most of that was built up in the last one.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think the Pete and Lana and Baby Clark stuff makes it, gives us more impact. Mm-hmm. And the Brainiac stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, just look at this. Now, Pete makes his way in there, finds the baby, and is able to get him out of there. And it turns out he's now brought up to a proper age.
Mm-hmm.
He's no longer,
premature.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Uh-oh. he tries to jump in there. It turns out his assistant had created a backup body for him, but there's a major flaw with it. But we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, fella, I promised your mother you wouldn't get hurt, and that's one promise I intend to keep. Oh, what did they do? They teleport him up to the moon.
Oh boy,
How did he do that? Look what he did. He put a distraction. Now he gets him out there and basically saying like, yeah, he heads on out there. Now, of course, he actually does forgive Superman. But here's what happened. He's now stuck in this machine body.
Mm-hmm.
So this is when we go from him being organic to full-on machine.
Mm-hmm.
And he can never leave it.
That is cool.
Again, this was a major change for Brainiac.
Mm-hmm.
So they go up there to deal with the lead, but you know how they deal with him this time? Because they can't take... Oh, look at that toony looking...
That's good. Because Kyle is like a comic book fan and an artist, so he's like, yeah, of course I'm going to do all this stuff.
Oh, I love this. Effective, but not exactly what I had in mind. You want I should whip up a Martian babe next time? Kyle.
I love Kyle.
But you know what they ended up doing with him? They put him in 4 different teleportation tubes, each one at a quarter of a across 4 different booths. So he's only 25% integrated. If you ask me, that's the other best way to keep him locked up.
So there's like a quarter of Doomsday in each of those.
But he's always in mid-transport.
That's
unable to sync or free himself.
Not a bad idea.
Not as effective as End of Time, but you can't repeat that again.
Yeah, you literally can't.
You can't because you become a paradox.
And also, I don't know how, but wouldn't Doomsday be invulnerable to that now?
No. Because he was taken out before that death could happen.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
But it turns out what happened, all of the town came over there and brought cows. All of it there. Why? Because the Kents were family to everyone.
That's cool.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what they name him, Clark.
Oh, okay.
But a later story would then make it clear, I didn't name him after you, Clark. I named him after Martha.
Okay.
Her last name?
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Martha Clark.
Mm-hmm.
But I do love how they later explain that. Clark Peter Ross.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fair making me cry, Lana. I'm honored. Land's sake, what am I thinking? We can't let a moment like this go by without preserving it. Amen, Martha. Amen. So how was that one?
That was a good one. I like that. It's such a good reveal. It's like Doomsday first shows up and he's speaking.
Yep. Now, of course, Doomsday would stay in there until Imperiex shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this one I can breeze right through, but this one you have Joe Casey and the late Mike Wieringo.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they go up there and they release them. You got Chemo there and all that. I can just breeze right through this. Mm-hmm. Oh, and John Henry Irons gets killed. He comes back, but he got killed during this.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Now, why am I breezing through it? Because you see Doomsday dealing with Imperiex. So having him and Superman fight together.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
But then Imperiex, which is basically their Galactus, whoosh! One hit KOs Doomsday.
That's a good way to establish how powerful Imperiex is.
But then we would see him here. Now this will be during Joker's last laugh, but it's not really important to this.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what Joker's last laugh was, right? He thinks he's dying, and he's starting to Jokerize so many other of them. Okay. But yeah, basically they had found the bones, and he regenerated.
Oh wow!
Now all this, we have this big speech going on. This is Lex's presidential speech.
Wait. I love how the art kind of has a 3D look to it.
Oh, that's McGinnis for you. And I love how he has the old suit again.
Yeah. Yeah. Superman holding the American flag because American way.
Yep. 100 issues since the death of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is all. Now I should have to point out by this point we had a what was his name from the first Superman movie? Otis. We have this Otis type guy named Mac.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a big revelation as well here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's going to give his big speech, but then roar! Boom, boom. Of course, Superman fights like, let's take this someplace else. This stop now. Leadline suit, side and frame are about the same, a bit bigger, but I saw you die during the war. Boom! You know who I am. Doomsday!
That is such a cool look for Doomsday.
Yes! So yeah, just... Oh, and then they put him in there. Now, turns out dealing with Superman, somehow the Beast has a bit of the Kryptonian DNA in him now from what they did. So Kryptonite should work on him too. But Duke, you're killing Superman as well. I'm surprised at you, Mac. How many lives will be lost if that creature continues on its rampage? I will not be stopped! I cannot be stopped! Yes, you can. John, Luther, I have come for you! Mac, what are you waiting for? That thing will kill us. You think I didn't know? You have the worst attendance record of any assistant ever, and I still didn't fire you. The Justice League needs to have a spy in my house. Fine, I have nothing to hide, but get to work. And this is not your house. It belongs to the American people. So it was John the whole time.
Wow, that's cool.
But get out of my head, Martian. You have power, but you are no Superman. A heat breath or energy breath. Oh, and then look, we have Black Lightning. Clear.
I love that. That's cool.
And look, oh, by this point, remember, Paw had been missing by this point. This is where Paw makes his return. I have to go home now. Easy, Sean. I've been inside his head. Somehow he knows it was Lucer who sent him after Imperiex, thus getting him killed. And he understands what happened to him. The pain. Yes, Ed. He's learning. Good. I plan to teach him a lesson. Get up! We're going to finish this once and for all. You're different now. You can think for yourself. So think about this. Before you were a mindless thing. Nothing could hurt you. You couldn't feel pain, much less understand it. But once you have felt it, it changes you forever. And now you'll begin to understand something new. Fear! I've lived with it all my life. You don't want to die again, do you? The agony of what's happened to you affects your speed, your strength, and that little bit of doubt that you cannot win today grows. You understand now, don't you? You will never hurt me again. You will never kill me again. Never again. So in other words, intellect does him no good.
Yeah.
It makes him weaker because he now has doubt. So, and now then he gives Doomsday the dark side.
Oh boy.
Which would then lead into Chuck Austin's run and the stuff in Superman Batman.
Oh, that's how he simulates Doomsday.
Yep. And then this is where we find out Paw's alive. I love you, Paw. Love you too, son.
That's such a great
It's good to be home.
That's such a great image.
So, how was this story compared to the last one?
That was cool. I like the design for Doomsday, how he has like that like bone across his chin. That was cool. And how he's intelligent now, but I love
And then they undo it, of course.
Yeah, but I like how, yes, they add the stuff that makes Doomsday more dangerous, but they also add in weaknesses.
And basically, he can never kill Superman again. Why? Because he'll always be afraid. That's why they got rid of it, of course. But yeah. I do like Loeb trying to make it clear Doomsday could never be a threat again if he's smart. You think having a brain in him would do it? No. And Brainiac was different. Brainiac was like, this is just a host body. I could leap anyone else. What did you see about Doomsday Wars?
I love that. All of these Doomsday stories are like amazing.
Yeah, but what would you say you like best about this particular story? I mean, the Doomsday War story.
I mean, this one?
Yeah, it's in the main mini we went over.
Probably what I liked about it is, again, that they added in the weaknesses, so I like that.
No, I'm not talking about, not this one.
Okay.
I'm talking about the mini we just went over.
Oh, what was that one again?
We just went over it with Brainiac in him and everything.
Oh yeah, that was cool. I liked how they built that up, because it's like all of a sudden Doomsday not only finally fights the good Justice League, but he kicks their asses.
Yep.
And then the reveal where he's speaking, and at first you're like, wait,
yeah,
what?
And then the next issue you find out is colluding, like, Brainiac.
Yeah, as soon as they say, "Oh, he rebuilt a Coluine city," I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
But then again, you had Brainiac die at the beginning. It makes sense.
But
You
here's the
know,
thing with Brainiac, it
not
you
at
could.
this point. Not at this point, though. Not at this point, dude.
Oh, okay.
At this point, Brainiac was sparsely used, and that was his body he'd had since the start of post-crisis. This was the first time they destroyed it.
Okay, so that makes sense. I also liked
That's
his.
like having him die meant something.
I also liked his totally robot suit body that they used in the Justice League Heroes video game.
Yep. Now, what did you think about the Pete and Lana and all that? Was Baby Clark?
The out of context, yeah, like we said before, I could see why Pete would be a little peeved, if you will, about what's going on with the kid and stuff. But when you think about it, yeah, 100% Pete was in the right because he's a father. He should be consulted on what's going on with his recently born child.
Prematurely born.
Yeah, exactly.
They were just in an accident.
Yeah, exactly.
And and what do you think about the flashback stuff? That was strong too. Something that Clark he botched something royally, and they nearly ruined their whole life.
Yeah, you showed how Superman responds to failure.
Yeah, and not very well. Not very well when it's loved ones.
No, not very well when it affects other people.
And that's why they brought in the cat again, reminding him about Adam. That was painful.
Yeah.
Okay. Where does this rank alongside? I would say this: it's beneath Hunter Prey, but I still think it's above the other two.
Yeah, Hunter Prey is number one. This is number two.
No. For me, Funeral for a Friend, Hunter Prey, this one, Return, Death.
Yeah, I'd say that. I agree with that one. That was
because Jurgens on his own, not having to deal with the other writers, does some of the strongest stuff when it's just him going straight for, and not having to lead in and connect to other art writer stuff.
But the funny part about Jurgens is that a lot of his writing involves him just revisiting stuff from the death of Superman.
That's true. That is something that has been a downside of his. But I think it's because he knows how to hit his best. It's like when Jim Stardom would always keep using stuff with Thanos, because he knows the stuff best.
But to a degree, it comes off from an outsider. Well, let me put it this way. It comes off a little bit like he can only write stuff that involves concepts from the death of Superman.
At least he just keeps it to Doomsday and Cyborg.
Yeah, at least he doesn't like try to expand like, oh my gosh, there's so much other lore that I didn't tell you about. So I'm like, at least he keeps it simple. And the stuff, again, it makes sense. So
yep. And I did also like, this is still during the part where they kept Doomsday surprise. See, these were his only two appearances, and then it was in Our World at War where they killed him. And then they did it again it was that during the Joker's Last Laugh until they made he couldn't do anything. But then it was after this. And I'll be honest, Jeff Johns is one of the ones who really overdid it.
True, because here's the thing about Superman, writing Superman, and this is a complaint from writers. I don't take it as a valid complaint because a creative writer will figure out a way. People have trouble writing Superman because when you have a character that's that powerful, Doomsday is really the only one.
I agree with you, but that's what I said. But this was still the notice this though. Years passed. You had again the other one happened. The last one happened not long after, but then this one happened after 0 hour.
Yeah, so years happened, and the thing is like, but it's always been a complaint, and I don't take it as a valid complaint because if you're a good writer, you'll figure out a way.
I agree, but I'm just saying, but I'm just pointing out how rarely they used him. They kept him sporadic. He was like and again, even when the other writers, like again, Casey brought him in there, he died. It's like roar, whoosh, dead. And then Loeb did it. I think Loeb was better than the Our World at War one. I think it was more effective saying intelligence doesn't work. But I think other realize that he's better as a mindless monster. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he is. He's way better.
But again, though, it then feels like ever since then you've had so many. They've overused Doomsday. I think.
Yep, they have.
After Doomed and everything, and even then, did they ever explain how Doomsday came back after Doomed?
I don't think they did.
He just ripped him in half and it was super Doom the rest of the series.
Yeah, and then Superman purged Doomsday from his system when he threw Brainiac into a black hole.
And then we never saw it again.
Not until Rebirth, when they had the Rebirth Superman fight Doomsday in like the first couple of arcs, I think.
Yeah, the very first arc.
Wasn't that
was
again
Jurgens?
That's my point. He keeps revisiting it.
Now, be fair, that could have been a case where Rebirth undid that portion. And I'll be honest, I have no argument against that one.
The problem,
having Superman be able to rip him in half made no sense to me.
No. But I'm saying whenever Jurgens is involved with Superman, he has to somehow go back to Death of Superman.
I agree. Would you agree, though? Him ripping Doomsday in half and Doomed makes zero sense.
It depends on the version of Doomsday, though.
But they never made clear which version this was, because it was the New 52. They didn't establish much about this Doomsday.
No, but my point is, this is why I reel against when people are like, well, this character wouldn't act this way. This isn't consistent with this story. Because particularly in that case, it's a different continuity, so they can power scale Doomsday to however they need for the story.
True. But again, overall, this was a great pairing story.
Fantastic group of stories.
Yeah. And again, I wish Doomsday was handled more like this. Just because if you notice, it's not Doomsday himself. It's everything around Doomsday that's the story.
Yeah, exactly. Because Doomsday's if you have just a Doomsday plot, it's a very simple story. By the way, this reminds me a lot of the Doomsday in Hell storyline that recently came out.
I can't wait.
So good. It was so good. That first issue, dude.
But again, it's around Doomsday.
Yeah, again, it's around Doomsday. There you go. It's like, wow, that is cool.
Yeah. Now, Grant, I would say this. The best time I ever saw Doomsday utilized after all this was during Infinite Crisis. The two Superman.
Yes, I love
taking him down. And then in Dark Crisis. Having him be that peak level of like, oh shit.
I still say that moment in Dark Crisis is when I became moderately a John Kent fan, because that last issue where he thinks he's gonna die and he goes, Dad, I hope I made you proud. And then Clark shows up like he's in the Snyder Cut and just catches the fist. He goes, yeah, this ain't happening again.
And again, it's a repeat. It's an homage to Infinite Crisis with the two Superman.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, yeah, this is cool. I dig this.
All right, well, I got to get going, man, and I'm pretty sure you do too. Thank you, everyone, for watching us, and we'll see you all in the next one. Take care.